Welcome, Ramley. How are my Super Bowl champions doing? I think I'm gonna address you guys as such for the next year or so. I don't know, it just feels right. I was gonna take some time off after the Super Bowl, but then I realized free agency is about a month away. So I'm here to tell you who I believe is staying on this Rams team and who's hitting the road. Let's talk about it. Now let's start by doing a very quick breakdown of the salary cap. According to Spotrac.com, the Rams are projected to be $10 million over the cap, but they have the ability to free up nearly $100 million in cap space in the coming weeks. Now, I don't expect them to free up $100 million because it's probably just not necessary, but they will free up a decent amount. How can the Rams free up so much money, you may ask? Well, it's easy. It's by restructuring and extending the contracts of several players. Converting base salary into signing bonuses clear up cap space, as signing bonuses don't count towards the cap space. The Rams have several players who have big 2022 salaries that can be converted into signing bonuses. Just 6 players, that's right, just 6 players have deals that can be restructured to create more than $60 million in cap space. That's Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey, Cooper Kupp, Leonard Floyd, Robert Woods, and Aaron Donald. So to put it in the simplest of terms, the salary cap will not prevent the Rams from re-signing anyone they want to keep. And the salary cap will not prevent the Rams from bringing on any new free agents. Like I always say, the salary cap is fake. There's always a way around it. With that being said, let's get right into the pending free agents. Who's staying, who's hitting the road, and let's start with cornerback Darious Williams. Now, the Rams are really high on Williams this season, placing a first-round tender on him. Unfortunately, he struggled all season long. Playing alongside Jalen Ramsey can be a tough task as quarterbacks are gonna hyper-target you because they are avoiding Jalen. Williams was not up for the task at all this season. I think he may benefit big from a scheme change. I see no reason why the Rams should keep him. Now, running back Sony Michel. Now, I love Sony Michel. I thought he played better than any other running back on this roster this past season, but it's clear the Rams don't share my opinion. Akers quickly took over the running back 1 duties a few games after returning from injury. But what was shocking was seeing Sony Michel only get 2 touches in the Super Bowl, with Darrell Henderson leaping him on the depth chart, despite, in my opinion, Michel outplaying Henderson all season long. It's clear that the Rams don't value Michel. I expect to see him somewhere else in 2022. Guard Austin Corbett. He was pretty good for us all season long. Keyword is pretty good. Not a superstar, but an above average starter. Good enough for the Rams to want to keep him at that starting guard spot, and he should come back at a decent price tag. Now we have centers Brian Allen and Coleman Shelton. One of them has to get re-signed. I don't see the Rams losing both of these players and completely punting the center position. I don't believe Brian Allen will command big money on the market, but if he gets away from the Rams, Coleman Shelton has proven this year that he can replace Brian Allen without much, if any, drop-off in production. The Rams will bring back at least one of these two. Defensive tackle Sebastian Joseph-Day. With A'Shawn Robinson playing great down the stretch and the emergence of Greg Gaines, along with Sebastian Joseph-Day's nasty pec injury, it's hard for me to see the Rams prioritizing bringing back a rotational backup. SJD had a base salary in 2021 of just $660,000. He's definitely due for a nice pay raise, but I think it'll be given to him by another team. Now let's talk wide receiver or our punt and kick returner Brandon Powell. He sparked a fire in our return game when he was brought on in the middle of the season. I'm sure the Rams can bring him back at a decent price if they want to. Perhaps Tutu Atwell coming back will cause the Rams to go in a different direction in the return game. One thing I know is that the Rams don't want to go through half the season without a dedicated return man again. So why not bring Powell back? Now let's talk about left tackle Joe Noteboom. This is going to be a very interesting one. If Andrew Whitworth retires, I believe Noteboom is the answer at left tackle. I'm a little worried about his injury history, and I often question will he hold up in a 17-game season. But the talent is definitely there. But we also seen Joe Noteboom get banged up in a limited role several times throughout his career. And if he's getting banged up in a few of his spot starts here and there, it's hard to imagine he's going to hold up for an entire 17-game season. But like I said, I think he's definitely talented enough to take over that spot. The big question is, what do you do if Whitworth decides to come back for another season, which is a possibility. Perhaps by the time you're watching this video, Whitworth has already made his decision. But if Big Whit decides to stay, and he is already under contract next season, do you really pay big money to a backup tackle? And even though I believe in the talent of Noteboom, he has played behind Whitworth his whole career. So would he even command big money on the open market? I'm real eager to see how the Rams front office plays this. My guess is they resign him. He'll probably be our starting left tackle this year, and if not, he'll definitely take over the reins next season. Kicker Matt Gay. There is a 0% chance Matt Gay isn't on the Rams roster in 2022. Since Greg Zuerlein left for Dallas, the Rams struggled to find any kind of consistency at the kicker position. Matt Gay has been great for us since coming to LA, even making the Pro Bowl this past season. He will be a Ram for years to come. Linebacker Troy Reeder, he had some really bad games and some pretty good ones this season. Consistency is something he struggles with. Reeder probably shouldn't be the starting linebacker for a Super Bowl winning defense. I think it would be great if the Rams could re-sign him around the league minimum and use him as a depth piece. But being a starting linebacker on this Rams defense may cause a team to spend a little more money than the Rams are willing to give. I expect Reeder to test free agency. Linebacker Ogbo Okoronkwo. I think if Ogbo left, no one would notice. With all these free agents needing deals, my guess is Ogbo is on the bottom of the priority list. I expect him to be on another team in 2022. Now, linebacker Travin Howard. Now, Travin stepped into a significant role towards the end of the season when Ernest Jones got hurt, and he played really good. He's a young talent that I would definitely like to see come back. Now, if he doesn't come back, there is a chance he doesn't get back into our starting lineup with Ernest Jones going into his second season. But if he doesn't, he would be a tremendous depth and rotational player. I think he stays. Now, cornerback Dante Dion. Dante played well at times this year. I would like to see him back in LA, especially with the potential departure of Darius Williams. Now, I don't think Dante Dion takes over as the number 2 cornerback by any means, and he's probably not high on the team's priority list either. But something tells me this kid needs to stick around and continue developing, and I'm guessing this Rams front office might see his potential also. I think he just might stick around here in LA. And guys, I didn't mean to bury the lead here, but let's get right into wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. Now, before the Super Bowl, I figured Odell is probably playing his way out of LA. With him being close to 30, this is probably Odell's last chance at a nice big contract. And I didn't see the Rams paying Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Odell Beckham all big money. I figured Odell Beckham would probably get upwards to $15+ million a year. Now, it would be too much for Odell Beckham to pass up on, and that would be too much for the Rams to match. No matter how much he loves playing on this Rams team, that's way too much money to turn down. But as you guys all know, unfortunately, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl, and the average recovery time is about 9 months, meaning Odell would most likely miss about half the 2022 regular season. And of course, he could always do something tremendous, like Cam Akers did, and come back in 6 months, but generally it's a 9-month injury. And there's no telling if he will be himself after tearing the same ACL twice. But with that being said, I can definitely see the Rams now offering him another contract, maybe filled with incentives like his last contract was. So they bring him in on a low base salary, but if he, hits all of these goals like he just did this past season, he could still get pretty decent money. And now with that knee injury and Odell Beckham not being able to play the entirety of the 2022 season, I can see a lot of other teams shying away from him. I 100% believe Odell Beckham Jr. re-signs with the Rams and comes back about halfway through the season, and just in time to help the Rams on another playoff run. Now let's get into linebacker Von Miller. The Rams gave up significant draft capital to acquire Von in the middle of the past season, and he didn't disappoint at all. He was a huge reason why the Rams defense was so dominant on the back half of the year. Simply put, I don't think the Rams win the Super Bowl without Von Miller on this team. Now, if you think the Rams traded away a 2nd and a 3rd round pick just for 12 games of Von Miller, you're crazy. The Rams have shown in the past that when they trade significant draft capital for you, re-signing you is a top priority. Look at Brandon Cooks and look at Jalen Ramsey. And Matthew Stafford should be getting an extension any day now. Now, of course, if the Rams let Von Miller walk after just 12 games, it was totally worth it. We got a Lombardi out of the deal. What more could you ask for? But the Rams have enough money to pay this man. And even in his old age, he's shown that he's worth every dollar. He's also expressed that he wants to return to LA. He loves LA. He already had a house here, and he even lived here in the offseason while playing for Denver. These are the benefits that you get when you have a team that is no longer in St. Louis and they're in LA. And if all of that isn't enough for the Rams to re-sign Von Miller, you have Aaron Donald literally threatening retirement if the Rams don't get Von and OBJ re-signed. I think Donald might be throwing OBJ a bone here. I think the real player he wants back is Von Miller. We all remember the smiles on Aaron Donald's face when the Rams first acquired Miller. I've never seen Aaron Donald smile harder than in that press conference after the trade went down. And he even said it after beating the 49ers in the NFC title game. He said, "We got Von. We can't lose." If I'm the Rams front office and I have two brain cells to rub together, I make Von Miller priority number one. Edge rushers are a premium in this league, and we got one of the best wanting to stay in LA. And no one, I repeat, no one wants to even think of what Aaron Donald might do if Von Miller is no longer on this Rams team. There is no way this Rams front office lets Von Miller leave. Von Miller will end his career. Von Miller will end his career as a Los Angeles Ram. And I think what Aaron Donald is doing is pretty commendable. At first, it took me by a shock. Like, what do you mean you're literally the greatest defender I've ever seen play, and you're still in your prime, and every season you're kind of getting better and better? Why would you even think about retiring? I don't think Aaron Donald wants to retire at all. I think Aaron Donald knows the importance of having Von Miller next to him. He knows what that defense can do and how good that defense got once Von Miller got there. He knows how easier it is to win with Von Miller, and he wants to make sure Von Miller gets paid. So he's telling the Rams front office, don't mess this up. Pay my guy so we can go out here and we can compete for another one. All he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is help his friend get paid. And Von Miller is deserving of every dollar, so you can't be mad at that. Thank you guys for watching. Be on the lookout for my next video as I entitle who I believe the Rams will go after and sign in free agency. I'm very eager to see some new faces in LA. The one thing this Rams team does that is so good is always look to get better, no matter what. This Super Bowl win is not going to prevent this Rams team from trying to get better and better and better. So be on the lookout for that video as I break down what new faces I believe is coming to LA. Please like this video and comment and let me know who you think is staying in LA and who you think is leaving LA this year. Also, subscribe to this YouTube channel, and most importantly, hit that bell notification button so you get alerted every time a new video drops. Follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter, and also click right here for more Rams content.